Hey there and welcome back to another Miraculous Ladybug Season 4 review. And here we are. Season 4 has, at long last, come to an end. And what an end it was! For those of you that keep up with my Miraculous videos, you'll know that I recently released a video talking about how I was a little bit worried for this finale that it was going to go the way of Miracle Queen and have a wholly unsatisfying ending, despite promises that this would be one of the most exciting and important episodes of all time. And I am quite happy to say, I was wrong in that regard, because they've actually managed to pull it off and create a finale that really capped off Season 4 on a high note, and has set up a lot of interesting and intriguing plot threads for Season 5 to build off of, whilst also really freshening up the format of the show itself. And honestly, I do realise that a lot of people have had some significant problems with the writing of Season 4, mostly from a character development perspective and due to the weird dynamic between Ladybug and Cat Noir. But honestly, I think this finale did wonders for the overall quality of the season itself. And I would argue that it still is probably one of the best seasons when you look at everything as objectively as you can, with no emotion attached to it. But anyway though, enough rambling, time to get into the episode and start the review. So we start off the episode exactly where the previous episode left off, with Adrian, dressed up as Felix, finding that Spy Kids eyepiece that Felix used to hack Gabe's safe, and used to bust into Emily's shrine room, before he notices that Strikeback is wandering through Paris and transforms into Cat Noir to help out. And already, we see this episode is planting the seeds for Season 5. Cause now Adrian has the gadget, but he has no idea how to use it, or what to use it on. But he does have it. And this confirms to me that at some point, he is going to find himself face to face with his mother's frozen corpse. Just like Felix did. Exciting stuff. Anyway, we then return to where Marinette's lurking on top of the train station roof, where she almost gives in to the glorious power of our Lord and Saviour Froggy to try and retrieve Adrian from his train trip using the power of the Horse Miraculous. Luckily though, she's saved from this cringy encounter when she finally notices that a giant senti-monster is lumbering through Paris, smashing buildings and going nuts. And I'm really not sure how she didn't notice this guy earlier. He's pretty big and his footsteps seem to shake the city. But that's okay. I can suspend my disbelief here. But speaking of Adrian, or Felix rather, we see him bond a little bit with Natalie, which would be cute if it was actually Adrian, and then we see some more Lila cringe flirting. Ugh. It's actually kind of sad at this stage, since canonically, she knows that Adrian hates her. So why does she keep trying? It's pathetic, really. Anyway, he walks off to the bathroom and tries his new Peacock Miraculous and uses the tablet he stole to figure out how to use it. But he quickly realizes it's a fake and crushes it in his hand. And of course, the one he wants is the Peacock. The Senti-Monster Miraculous.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
We then move back to the battle in Paris, where we see Ladybug and Cat Noir trying to take down Strikeback. But since they've both been infected by our God King Froggy, they keep taking weird risks and making things worse, like when Ladybug makes the big guy faceplant onto a road and smash it up. Also, the fatality rate this episode, Jesus! It seems like it would be high. Like shit, he full on throws the Ferris wheel with people in it. Are there seatbelts in that thing? I doubt it. I feel like the majority of the people in it would have died on impact. And so many buildings just get totaled, even in just this first clash. Yikes indeed. But there's no time to worry about that now, because obviously, now is the perfect time to start airing out dirty laundry of their partnership, and to reignite the Cat Noir feels underappreciated storyline. Seriously, I thought we'd finished off this one. No? Oh well. Perhaps I'm lying to myself, but surely this is where the storyline finally reaches its conclusion. Right? Right? Anyway, the crux of this issue is that Cat Noir feels that Ladybug never trusts him with anything and leaves him in the dark a lot. And Ladybug seems to have PTSD from Cat Blanc, and so she doesn't trust that he won't get akumatized. Or that she won't get akumatized. And hey, I know at this point the storyline has lingered a little long, but I do like that previous episodes have really started to shape how characters behave in the future this season. Anyway, after this, Ladybug goes off to try and save the one true King Froggy, and Cat Noir saves the mayor who's been turned into an idiot by Froggy singing. And they realise that since everybody in Paris is now a smooth brain, they need to call in help, and thus Nino, Kagami, Julika, Zoe, Milen, Mark, and Ivan join the battle. And that's all well and good. Filler characters for the battle, I get it. But I did notice When Rena's looking through her telescope, they have put King Monkey into a shot. Did they repeat a scene from a previous episode? Really, fellas? Was it that hard to animate something fresh? This is just, it's honestly so lazy. For shame. Moving on, once again, the almighty Froggy pedals into harm's way and needs saving. So the heroes rush the big guy, and Vesperia and Purple Tigress get immediately clapped. Ooh, sorry ladies, thanks for coming. And they need to be rescued by Polymouse, who splits herself off as a distraction, but then for some reason, one of her doubles stays behind to tank the monster's punch. And this lets him copy her clone ability. And I mean, yeah, she couldn't have known that would happen, but what the hell? She clearly had time to move. Why would she let him punch her anyway? What's she thinking? Anyway, they all regroup on the rooftops to recover from Polymouse's massive blunder, and so one of the big fellas decides to Falcon Punch the Ferris wheel at them. So those people are definitely dead, hey? Of course, Ryuko then deflects this, causing Carapace to use his shield to protect Rena, who would have been hit by the rebound into the skyscraper she was standing on. And is there any reason that he didn't think that he should perhaps use the power on himself and his allies so that they wouldn't get hit in the first place? Need to be a bit quicker on the draw, mate. So Ladybug, rightfully pissed off that Rena Rouge has been found out and that Alia spilled the beans, gives them the angry eyes and the dreaded, "We'll talk later." Ooh, never a good thing to hear. Sends a cold shiver down the spine whenever somebody says that to me. At this point, Rena starts to notice the Froggy marks. So, Froggy decides to put Cat Noir through a wall. Seems reasonable. Poor Cat Noir taking L's left and right, as per usual. Also, Gabe! Finally, some good plans. Because now he thinks that Ladybug's going to second guess herself, and he is mostly right, I guess. It is a good strategy. I mean, it fails, for the most part, but it was a good plan. For some reason, though, Ladybug tells Cat Noir to de-transform and to go hide because it would be too risky to use Cataclysm. Man, really pushing the sideline Cat Noir story hard this episode. And honestly, there's no reason why she would even do this. Literally nobody is supposed to use their powers on them anyway. So why doesn't she just send Cat Noir to chase Froggy with her? I just don't understand. And since his orders suck, he gets Froggied into going to fight one of the big boys. Oops. Anyway, Froggy gets clapped, but sucked in because he hit his item. Seriously, why has no other villain ever done that? Froggy the Chad. But then we cut back to Cat Noir, who's pinned up against a wall by a car, leading to him trying to save himself by using a Cataclysm. But instead of immediately touching the car like a reasonable person, he holds it in his hand up in the air for ages and allows the villain to steal it, dust a skyscraper, and probably kill shit tons of people at the same time. Oopsie. Moving on though, because Ladybug then uses Lucky Charm and gets a zoo ticket from the day before, which makes her realise that she can go back to that time and find out where the item is if she goes to the zoo. And come on! This isn't fair for Gabe. This is like hacking in a video game, man. Gabe finally gets his foolproof plan, and Lucky Charm comes to serve him up a delicious helping of bullshit pie. Lucky Charm. More like plot armor charm. And then she somehow remembers that fake Adrian didn't have a froggy mark on his neck. Like, how the hell would she even remember that if she hadn't even noticed that they were on anybody's necks until Rena told her? Oh well. Once again, I must suspend my disbelief. So she then unifies the Ladybug, the bunny, and the horse, and she gets a new suit with crazy 80s power suit shoulder pads. And honestly, I know people think this one looks god-awful, and it kind of does to be fair, but I still like it, and her hair looks cool. Anyway, she gets fake Adrian to power up as the dog, and they do this in full view of everybody in the train. What if somebody turned in their seat? Wasn't Natalie facing that way? This could have been a disaster. Also, why did Felix not get the mark? Was he magically not ever around Froggy, unlike literally everybody else? Also, her showing him how to use the power to betray her was quite amusing to me. And I also loved his mind getting blown by the rabbit's burrow. And I also loved that this time travel plan was actually legit. It was quite a smart play, and it doesn't risk erasing their future. Good writing. But Jesus, what a throw by the dog. Seriously, he was a fair distance away and he nailed it. Like, imagine if he missed and hit the kid and just ruined the entire plan. Oh, you just feel the worst, wouldn't you? But anyway, they head back to the present and oopsie, looks like the world's ending. Seriously, how did the sky go orange? It isn't sunset. Did they set the city on fire? What the hell's going on here? Anyway, the extras got clapped by the Sentimonsters, but on the bright side, they managed to get rid of Froggy with the dog ball, and the heroes reassemble to come up with a plan to take down the Sentimonsters. Also, side note, Flair Middable, is that his name? Man, they should be glad that this is one of those one-off appearances, because that name is a bit of a mouthful. And I did very much enjoy seeing the interactions between Felix the dog and Adrian the cat. Felt very true to their animals in that moment. The happy and kind of smug dog, and the grumpy, somewhat jealous cat. Moving on though, Ladybug uses Lucky Charm again and gets herself some sunglasses, which Rooster clones to make a copy for everybody. And while everybody does that, Felix sneakily touches her yo-yo with his ball. And that sounds vaguely dirty, but moving on! Ladybug tells the gang that they're going to gather up the Sentimonsters and lure them into a trap, before portaling them somewhere else where they can't hurt anybody ever again. And interesting that Felix seemed curious as to where they're going. Oh, and where is this magical place where they can't hurt anybody ever again? Oh, nowhere special. They're only getting dropped into the sun? Jesus, Ladybug ain't playing anymore. But then we see that Felix is not looking too happy, and even apologizes. Why would he do this? Remorse, I guess, but for betraying Ladybug? Unlikely. But for letting those Sentimonsters die? I think that's almost definitely the reason. Now, what's the reason behind that? Is he a Sentimonster? Or Adrian? Or both? Dunno. But the theory is basically 100% confirmed now, surely. There are Senti shenanigans going on with one of those boys. Because based on this, it looks like he knows that they think and they feel. And so he feels sorry that they died so brutally. Ugh. It's kind of sad, actually. At this point, we then have Rena Rouge give up her Miraculous for a pretty BS reason, all things considered. Because as we know, the villains know who most of the users are anyway. So why even bother hiding? Oh well. Ladybug and Cat Noir needed to be alone for the start of Season 5 to build stakes, so here we are. Anyway, this is where Ladybug gets the first inkling that something's wrong, as Adrian is not at the meetup spot. Oopsie. But we'll come back to that, because then we cut to Gabe raging on the phone at Natalie before he finds Felix chilling in the dining room with the dog Miraculous active. And whilst this is going on, Natalie collapses on the other end of the phone and Lila just smirks. What? Why? What is so funny about someone collapsing on a train? Psychotic little shit. Have some empathy. And then we finally get a little scene where the penny drops for Marinette and she realizes that Felix has screwed her over. And she has a full-on panic attack, which feels pretty realistic if you ask me. These things are basically weapons of mass destruction, and she just lost one of them to a person who's known to be selfish and out for himself. But here is where it gets interesting, as Felix and Gabe strike a bargain. Felix will give back the ring and all the other Miraculouses in exchange for the peacock. And interesting that he says he won't need the ring anymore after that. Sentimonster. Surely he's a Sentimonster. And if not, are we sure that this kid isn't Gabe's actual son? God, they act alike, except that Gabe has a much, much smoother brain. Felix has come out on top in like 2 out of 3 of his big appearances. Gabe loses every day of the week. So he steals the yo-yo, and Gabe snatches all the Miraculouses. And this is a good twist. And a good cliffhanger. And Jesus, the laugh as he steals them all, that was actually kind of funny. He had a pretty psychotic face. And on top of that, the scene with Ladybug was really well done. It did seem like she had a proper panic attack. She couldn't think clearly. She couldn't think to de-transform. Nothing. Just deer in headlights, or Ladybug in headlights. Really unexpectedly well written there. So I'm guessing he's going to use the Miraculouses in different episodes next season, and then she'll win them back one by one. And then she might even hand them out permanently to prevent them getting stolen all at once again. And also, when Felix de-transforms in this scene, why is his hair back to Felix hair when he had Adrian hair when he transformed into the dog? Oh well. We then finish off the episode with some premium Lady Noir. Mwah! Where Ladybug's crying on a rooftop with literally nobody in the street. Remember that there is nobody in the street. And then Gabe can't resist having his big villain monologue. Also, imagine how Suhan is feeling now after this kid who told him that she had it all covered and he needed to stop worrying lost all but 2 of the Miraculouses to the villain. Whoopsie. Someone's getting yelled at in episode 1. So yeah, Gabe talks some shit, Ladybug cries, and Cat Noir arrives to console her, telling her it isn't her fault. And she, of course, goes on to tell him that it is her fault, and that she's the worst guardian ever. But, I mean, she can't be worse than Fu. Fu accidentally got the entire order slaughtered by a sentient monster he created all because he was hungry, but he had to stand guard and couldn't go to the kitchen. This is child's play by comparison. Anyway though, Cat Noir cheers her up and offers her his hand in a reflection of the umbrella scene from Origins, and she blushes. Ooh, now this is interesting. Are they going to have her fall for him after this because he's so nice? Because he stands by her through all this danger and even after she pushed him away? To me, it does feel like this would probably be the best way to approach their romance. Have her fall for Cat Noir and be super confused as to what the hell is going on. And then the people on the street start to clap and cheer. And what people on the street, you might say? Well, now there's a full street. I know. Where the hell did they all come from? This is the street literally minutes beforehand. This is the street afterwards. How the hell did they even know she was on that roof? They're all facing her. It's so weird. It's kind of cheesy, and it is a bit cringe to end things off here, but honestly, the rest of the episode was really good, so I can forgive this. So, that's the end of the episode. And yes, that was a good finale. That's what I'm talking about. Miracle Queen, kiss my ass. This is what I wanted. It was exciting, it was gripping. It concluded a couple plot threads weaved throughout the season, and it set up heaps of new questions and plot points for season 5. Them getting the Miraculouses back, Felix and the Peacock, the Sentimonster theory, Natalie's still dying. Are they gonna go pay Felix a visit to beat him down for what he did? Will Adrian figure out the Spy Kids gadget? Is Lady Noir gonna develop? What will Gabe's new villain name be with all these different Miraculouses to choose from? Very exciting. And I'm really looking forward to season 5. But as always, these are just my opinions. And now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the episode? Like it, hate it? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.